Good evening. This is a bit of a side diversion. We're doing an 1850 start, very hard, passengers only, in Transport Fever 2. Just because it came up in a discussion on the forums, so let's give it a shot. Here we have a random map, 100% random. Very hard, using the latest settings from the 2022 spring update. Everything was set to max. As hard as it could be, as many industries and as many cities would fit on this map. And just to double check, let's see what we have. We have game difficulty, very hard. Company score 0. Here's our map size. We've been at this for 1.4 hours. Now, we've transported 164 passengers. We are currently making or earning. We're losing just a few pennies. And we're down to $1 million in the bank. We've got just these 3 stations. We've got these lines. This is the train line. There's our train line. She's full at 28 out of 28. We've got 3 bus lines, horse-drawn carriages, stagecoaches, and stagecoaches. And line 4 is doing well. We have no trams, no boats, no ferries, no planes. That's it. That's what's on the map. And we are just on the brink of being able to make a profit. If we throw another coach on here, which is how we're going to try and get out of here, because that's all we have to do. We just need to get random luck, any 2 or 3 cities. And because this is passenger service, we get a premium. We know that every city we go to, we have the wagons on our train that we need. In this case, passenger cars. If we were to do, let's say, this sawmill coming down to this tool factory, where's our forest? We'd have to find one, which means we're up here. So if we haul from this forest, we can make it to the sawmill. Now we can hit the factory up here for machines. We could come down here to this tool factory. But where can we go from here? Well, random gave us machines, but we don't have steel. It's more complicated. Here we have tools. Does anybody want tools in our immediate vicinity? No one does. Do we have somewhere else that we can go with this? No. See, we're just dead-headed back, and that's how we're going to fail. And that's sort of the benefit and the bane of passenger service. Passenger service is cargo just like any other, because this is a transport game. Except it does give us some problems. You can't guarantee there's a supply, and you can't guarantee there's a demand. Once you get a supply and a demand that works, your premium is, it's the same cars. You can always come back. And if you can set that up, and the trick to it is, get cities that are close together that want to share passengers. If you were to pick some, Buffalo way up here, all the way down here to Stockholm, or worse, down here to Spokane, the passengers aren't going to want to go that far. And that's where freight is easier, because you can come up here to Salt Lake City. Let's see, they're looking for bread and machines. Do we have food or anything up near here? No, we don't. Oh, here we go. Here's some crops. You can haul these crops from the Salt Lake City farm up to Salt Lake City. Build an airport. If it was in an era where airplanes are unlocked, you could haul that food. Oh, by the way, look, there's a food factory right here. Here's a food processing plant. Very close to Salt Lake City. The game doesn't care. It will let you transport that food all the way down here to the very other end of the map where there's other food. And here you go. You could transport it down here to Chandler. Get this huge amount of revenue for flying food down here. Drop it off at the food factory, pick it up, the food, fly it all the way back across the map, past other farms and other food factories. The game doesn't care. Back here to Salt Lake City and deliver the food at another exorbitant premium. And then you've got a money machine. Thank you, Spiff and Britt. He's pointed that out a long time ago in a video on how to make money about hauling, I believe it was concrete. Other people have done the same thing. It's just pick any good, fly it as far as you can, drive it, sail it. It doesn't matter. That food factory has to take that bread. And this city up here will take the food, regardless of its transportation costs. And that's where it's easier to haul freight. But passenger service absolutely can be done. Now, let's take a look at our line and see what we can do to get ourselves a little bit more profit here. Here's all of our vehicles. There's our train. Where is she? She's in the station. Has she pulled out yet? Yeah, she has pulled out. So we could easily back her up. We'll keep her up on the screen the whole time. Who's sitting on the platform? We got 28 people. So let's take our train and let's see what we can do to upgrade her before we get out of this era. Have we gotten a new locomotive yet? Nope, we're still on the same one. Okay, which passenger car are we using? We're using passenger car. Not to be too technical, but that's its name. And how much are they? 407 each. If we throw 2 on there, we're going to run out of cash. Let's throw on 1. And as soon as she pulls out of the station, we're going to back her up so that she does grab the extra passengers. Ooh, we got a new train. Let's see what that gets us. Well, first off, it gets us to 55. Manage vehicles. Upgrade. Steam. So we're currently in a Russian Class V. And we're getting a horsepower of 60. This will give us 140. Obviously, we're going to do an upgrade. And then we're going to throw another train on there. That's a 346 upgrade. Do we have enough? Nope. We're going to grab another 500,000. Just so we can throw another car on there. Manage the vehicle. Give me another passenger car. Now we're hauling 56. By the way, what's our performance now? Our performance is going from poor to mediocre. We can easily throw another passenger car on here. Now, is she still at the station? Nope. Turn her around. Nope. Go out a little further. Nope. Come out a little further. There we go. Now, just a few seconds of hiccups here, and we've got ourselves a full passenger train. Let's kick it up to full speed. Let's enjoy the ride and see how our profits go. Once we have 2 years of a profit, we're printing money. Slowly, but we are printing money. And that's the thing about playing in very hard and hard. Get a line that's profitable, and then get a line that's profitable and you cover all your overhead costs. And once you do that, you're sailing along. Now, of course, for me, let's see. We dropped off 56, however many we dropped off, and we picked up 53. So we've left no one at the station. Now, what's waiting for us down there at, is that Moreno? Morno Valley? I guess Morno Valley. Morno Valley, we have 45 people waiting for us. 47. They are heading back to Buffalo and Lexington. 48 people. $196. Train's almost full. Just a few more bucks and we could pay our loan back down to a $500,000. It's just baby steps. And we keep watching the big board. Okay. We lost 462 here. 407 went to our investments. That was that additional wagon we bought. So, we lost 55 that year prior to the investment. Very small amount. The interest, we would have lost still 50K. Still a loss year, but eventually you would go broke. We need a profitable year. Here we bought our train upgrade. There's the general. Well, she only does 45. We don't want to go slower. We want to go faster. If we go to the general, we can lower our costs. That's a whole different analysis of how much money you bring in versus your speed. But we have a line. We're full. Did we leave more people on the platform back in Lexington? Yeah, we did. We left a few people on the platform. Enough for another car? That's an interesting question. Let's see what's going on when we get back here to Buffalo. Buffalo has 31. Let's check our bus service before we leave the station. Alright, we've stopped the game. You know what? Let's just let it go. Ooh, man, that is so tempting. How many are left at the station? None. Okay, we emptied the station. Okay. Let's go check our bus service. And we've got 12 people here. One person waiting. And then we got 57 people waiting over here. Oh yeah, we're definitely adding more bus. So let's take a look at our bus line. Line 4. We might as well change the name of it while we're here. Bus intercity. Is it intercity? Yeah, it's intercity. It's not intercity. So bus Buffalo. Buffalo? Buffalo. How do you spell Buffalo? B-U-F-F. Yeah, Buffalo. B-U-F-F-A-L-O. Okay. Let's manage the vehicles. Let's see if there was an upgrade from the plain old horse-drawn carriage. Replace. Passenger? Nope. Let's just clone them. Pick up a few extra bucks in Buffalo. And again, more passengers coming to the train station. Here's these 4. 56. Is that going to be enough? Well, we assume that this isn't a fluke. Let's see how fast it recharges. If it recharges, then we need to buy 4 more. Come on, get out of there with your 43. We're going to buy 4 more. Not enough money. Okay, let's see where we are with the train. I thought I pinned that window. Here she comes. Pin that. She's making a small profit. Okay, we left 10, 13 people there at the station. We're going to throw another car in here. Well, how are we going to pay for that? Let's see. I mean, we lost 171. I guess we're going to 394. See, here's where we get into that race to the bottom. 894. Give me another passenger wagon. Edit the vehicle. I did that on my regular stream earlier tonight. I accidentally cloned before I was ready for it. Don't make that mistake. If we even get a couple of pennies here, we'll repay that. Make another dent towards that loan. Matter of fact, let's just keep this up here and in the way so that we, as soon as we can replay, we do. As soon as we can replay, yeah, as soon as we can repay it. You know, we're not going to replay it. If this crashes and burns, then we can always replay it later and see what happens. But, I mean, we have a line that's working. The problem is the line's got to cover the overhead of the rest of the game. We have the passenger service, the bus service working. That's bringing in revenue. Look at that. So if she can just keep going back and forth like this, bringing in enough money. Okay, what did we do here? 95 and the loan interest. Well, I mean, you can't, even without that, we're losing. But we had a profitable year on the railroad. We're just like 48 out of 70. We didn't need the extra car. Is it affecting our speed? We're still going to get up to speed, just how quickly we do it. But as you can see, this is a fun challenge. This is not an instant win like, you know, logs from the forest, finding a sawmill and making a triangle. Or worse, you know, starting in the era of airplane and sailing across the map with a plane. I mean, it's your game. Play it your way. Yeah, see, we're fighting a battle of costs here. We still have $4 million that we could build with. Is there something else that we could do to make revenue that won't increase our infrastructure costs so much that, you know, the line revenue is profitable, but the infrastructure cost increase eats up that profit? Because then we're just losing more money quickly. Yeah. Lexington's got 25 people waiting for us. And they want to go all the way the next stop to Buffalo. Or rather back to Buffalo. That extra train appears to be something we can sell. Because we're bleeding off that overhead. $60 out of $70. See, now we can't sell that passenger car. We need it. We've got somebody in it. The question is, would we be better off running full at 56? than the little bit of extra premium we're getting from these 4 people. And my apologies to everybody who watched my stream earlier today for the 30 minutes of the thumbnail blocking a portion of the screen. And thank you to the people who messaged me in chat and on Discord to notify me about it. Ooh, 69 out of 70 going back. See, we're not getting rid of that passenger car right now. Just give us a few bucks. We're playing a war here versus how slim our margins are on the line, and how much expense we're paying on all of the overhead costs. Look at the bus service. We've added buses and we're making more money. We're not losing as much. Hey, how are you doing today? So we're testing out, can we do a very hard game with passenger service only? And no, it's not a new game. It's just a separate test. Just a simple standalone game, just to prove can you make money on passenger service only on very hard? And it's a very slim margin. I mean, I made it. It's still 1861, and we're still afloat with just a passenger train that goes to 3 cities. The game is on very hard difficulty. And the only other thing we have is each of the cities has bus service with stagecoaches picking up passengers. And we could hold out for another easily 10, 20 years. The amount of losses are so small. Like we're just on the cusp. Like last year we lost $100,000, $111,000. 60,000 of it went to interest. Our passenger train only lost $34,000. If we could just find a way to make a few more bucks, we would be profitable.
How many did you leave the station?
Well, let's see. Moreno Valley, we got 6 at the station. We're currently pulling into Lexington, which has 28 people that want to go north to Buffalo, and we're carrying 53 out of 70. So we're pretty close. And I've increased the number of trains from 2 to 4 to 5. There you go. We left 1 person at the station. We're 70 out of 70. So, we have a full train. Every seat is full of a passenger. We wouldn't add another car because the cost of the extra passenger car for 1 passenger isn't worth it. And, unless you sat at each station loading and unloading cars, the what you would lose on buying and selling the cars wouldn't be worth it. Like we just got a new train and new passenger cars. The passenger cars, let's see. I have to see if their overhead cost is any lower. Okay. We left 1 person in the station of Buffalo. The train's 68 of 70, so we pulled away before they got there. Let's see if we could upgrade the train and save any money. We're running 5 passenger cars for 70 people. The newest car that came in, she holds. You got your calculator?
Okay.
Okay. So this train, let's see, they both have a top speed of 50. The 14 passenger train has a weight of 20. The 8 passenger train has a weight of 7. So, I mean, the weight really isn't that big of a deal because we're going to hit top speed anyway. And I happen to pick 3 cities that were relatively flat. So we're going to ignore weight because it's not going to make a bit of difference. But we're paying maintenance of 67,009 for 14 people. Okay? So that works out to about
67. You said 67,000.
67,971 for 14 passengers on the train.
A little over 4,000. 4,855.
Okay, the latest train that's come out is carries 8 people.
Okay.
So in maintenance, it's charging us 38,841, which is about your rate from the other train.
Almost the same.
Yeah. So if we were to switch trains, the only benefit that we could get is that we've got 8 passenger trains, which would allow us to maybe drop off from 70 and get down to like 62 or some smaller, number. Well, in this case, it would be, 56 or, a multiple of 8. That might be the better number of people for the number of people we have. But the per person, per passenger seat maintenance cost is identical.
Yep.
So, like, we don't gain anything.
And it's going to cost you money to switch them out.
Yes, it is. And now, in the original Transport Fever game, the trains had a time limit where they deteriorated, and that's not in Transport Fever 2. They changed the mechanic. Here, the mechanic is the older the train gets, pretty much the uglier looking it gets, and it it smells more, or it pollutes more, or it makes more smoke. And that makes a difference in the individual cities because the more the city has to suffer under emissions, it takes a reduction in how much population the city will grow. So if you have a whole bunch of steam belching dirty trains running through the middle of the city, where you put your passenger train because then it had access to everybody, well, then you might take a hit as high as, 20-30% of your city. But to increase to reduce the emissions, you have to take the service, from normal to good, which costs 25% more, or very good. And configure maintenance. Here we go. Normal, high is 25%, and very high is 50%. So, we're just barely making money on the train, trying to make a profit here. You know, and we're just, we lost 111,000, we lost 284. We're eventually gonna go bankrupt here. If we're losing 200,000 a year and we can borrow $4 more million in loans, we've got 20 more years of gameplay. That's going to take us to 1882 from an 1850 start. That's 32 years of your company before you go bankrupt. There's there's something that you could do in those 32 years. There's got to be. It's just a matter of figuring out what that is. And if what that is you haul logs and that's profitable, then maybe that gets you enough to survive. I mean, I could haul logs right now with trucks, you know. Okay, we've gotten a train upgrade. It takes us to 55, but we can't go faster than 50 because that's the speed of our passenger cars. And we've been given a streetcar that'll hold more people. The question there is, can we make more money in our cities on bus service? You know,
What does the function of transporting people in this game do?
so every type of freight is just freight, whether you're hauling logs, planks, iron ore, coal, or steel. It's just freight. You get a premium if you're hauling freight in the amount of money that you make, because you can't guarantee that you're getting. So, a source of, as you know, like with the quarry will give you all the stone you want up until a certain point. And if you haul it to, as I call them, like the Brownsville cement factory, it will take all the stone that you send it from anywhere on the map without limit. You can have a steel mill where you send it iron, but you never deliver a speck of coal. You look in the window and it'll say, I'm holding on to 66,000 pieces of steel of iron. It's going to buy all of it that it can, just hoping that you send it some coal one day, maybe. And because of that, the game gives you a premium of 175% of the revenue you would make on a passenger service. Because the problem with the with cargo service is, if you go from, you know, the forest over to a sawmill, or like a quarry up to the, like if you take a quarry and you pick it up and you haul up to the construction materials plant, to do that you have to have a gondola. Now you're deadheading back empty, because what are the odds that there's going to be something that can only be hauled in a gondola that's going back that same direction? With passenger service, you get the benefit. I call it a premium, but you get the benefit that the same thing going back is going to be passengers. So you've always got the right kind of car on the back end of your locomotive. Passenger service, though, only pays you the 100% rate.
See, you can prevent deadheading even if you're using an unprofitable load, just to keep the loss down. You don't have to omit the loss, just reduce it.
That's correct. As an example, on the Mississippi River series, we have a line that hauls construction materials from Brownsville cement factory so okay, here's an interesting point. I have two cities. One of them has a quarry and the other one has a construction materials plant. Can I can I do I have to deadhead between the two of them, or can I carry stuff back? To take stone from the quarry, you have to have a gondola. To take construction materials back, they require a flat car with side stakes.
Oh, so you need two different.
Yes. And that's why you get the 175% rate for freight. Now, what you could do is you could say, well, I'll just slap a few of those cars, the flat cars, onto my train loaded with gondolas. Okay, but then those are deadheading up. So all you're doing is balancing out your deadhead costs between two different directions. What you wind up having to do is, like, I'm sitting here looking on this map right now, and if we were to take stone out of this quarry and take it up to this construction plant outside of Buffalo, we could head up here to a coal mine near Buffalo. And is there a steel mill anywhere down here? There's people that want steel, but there is no. Yeah, there's no steel mill on this direction where we could drop that coal off. How about food? Nope, there's no food opportunity. Like, we just do not have an opportunity not to deadhead, even slightly veering off of our course. You come at it from a different angle, you might have a better chance. But here's the thing, and kudos to the Spiffing Brick because he covered this a long time ago. In Transport Fever 2, you can go to the top left-hand corner or top right-hand corner of the map. And in this case, I'm up at West Covina. And find a farm near West Covina. And the answer is, you know, here's a farm. So you haul the goods from a farm. Hell, there's four of them right here. No, dude, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 farms right next to a food processing plant. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the food from the farthest away plant, drive it to West Covina, and put it on an airplane. Well, not West Covina because that city doesn't want food. I'll drive it to Greensburg. So you pick up food from a train and you drive it to Greensboro. Greensboro wants food. You drive past with a train food factories. The game doesn't care. You delivered it to the city. In Greensboro, you build an airport. On it, you put a DC-10 and you fly the food all the way to the other end of the map over top of various farms and food factories galore. And you take it down to a city that has a food factory, the farthest away from you. You will get the exorbitant rate for flying food across the map. Okay? Now, you don't want a deadhead, so you built the airplane right here in Baton Rouge, right next to a food factory. That airport at the Baton Rouge food factory then gives you back food, which you fly all the way back across the map up here to Salt Lake City or Greensboro, who's going to say, oh my God, thank you for bringing us food, and pay you airline rates for that food. And now what you've done is you've just printed money. And for the rest of the game, you're playing. You might as well be playing with a no money mod. Well, again, your game, your way. You play it whatever way you want. You give yourself your own challenges. I happen to think that the fact that we're sitting down here in 1865, only running passenger service, trying to figure out how to stay alive, is a more challenging and fun game than to have started the game in 1870, have built the DC-10, and used it to fly stone across the map.
So how are your bus systems looking?
Okay, let's see what we're doing. Down here at Buffalo, we got 50 people waiting. Let's check the buses. You know, we can actually see every station if we click the station map. We've got, yeah, but you can't sort by line here. Okay, oh yeah, we can sort by town. So Buffalo bus stations, we've got one station with 1 and one with 11 passengers, 12 passengers waiting. So not really much to do there. That's, they're at the train station. Matter of fact, let's, yeah, we'll just add this to the name so when we're looking at it, but it's not over the 70 that the train can carry. So provided, not to be OCD about this, but just, I make enough typos as it is, you know. If I can see them, I try and fix them. Yeah, we're doing, there's 14, 15, another 21 back there. So the Moreno Valley station could definitely use a few more buses.
The one that you were just at before this one, only half the city was covered because it only had 1 bus.
Oh, all right, let me go back there a second, because the city's going to grow, and if it grew, I haven't, what the hell's the name of this town? Moreno Valley. Where is Moreno Valley? Somewhere in California, I guess. They name their towns with valleys, those kind of California people. All right, we'll up Oh, not enough money. You know, I did this. You know, you gotta borrow money to lose money. Okay. We don't need a new train, passenger train. We're good with what we got. So let's get a couple buses on this thing.
I think the problem you're gonna have with the train is you're not gonna make money until you can grow the cities a little bit bigger.
And that's why you need the bus
Start
service.
building.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, here's Lexington. I mean, the bus service just does a loop or back and forth, and it's just to give you catchment between the train station and back to here. It really, we don't, I mean, the train station itself has catchment to this part of town. We really only need the bus service just to get us back here. And there's 2 buses on here carrying 2 of 8. So, I mean, this isn't, and it is making a profit. It's up $2.
Okay, so that one did have. Okay, when I just saw, I guess both of those icons must have been overlapping on this before.
Yeah,
That
this
was the
is,
second one.
yeah, this is,
Okay.
yeah, it's just, well, okay. See, here's things we could be doing. We don't need that. There's another one back here. Is that costing us a lot of money? You know what? When you're losing money, it doesn't really matter.
What are those?
Those are the depots where we got the buses from. So unless we're going to buy more buses, we don't need the depot. And then we're down here at Buffalo. Here's just 34 people waiting. And the bus service in Buffalo is carrying 28 out of 32. So, I mean, she's carrying people. So let's drop in. Let's give her 4 more. Just to see how it goes. Oh, where's the depot? See, they're going to pour out of here. And really, the biggest problem is Sycamore Street over here. Is that a bubble or is that just steady growth? Because the town definitely looks like it's growing. Let's see how big it is. 224. It's definitely, it's growing. Now, if the train comes back, I mean, as long as a stagecoach doesn't pull up and leave here empty. Which, I mean, this one's getting here full. She came in with 3, she left with 2. Yeah, used Sarah being sold. Yeah, see, this thing is it's the train that's filling this up so we're getting sort of burst traffic. It comes pouring in.
Yeah.
But we are bringing the 52 people here that are waiting on the 54 now that are waiting on the platform. So as long as no one comes in empty and leaves empty. let's see, this one's got 4. How soon until the train station upgrades?
Single horse.
That's a private person's driving their wagon.
Okay.
So grab the next one that goes by. Let's find
The
one.
equivalent of seeing cars in the street while you have your buses in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Except in this era, that's what they have. So, these people chose to walk. Gabrielle Bryant, you know. Yeah, here you go. Here's Kenneth Gray here is driving his own buggy, you know. But here's the interesting thing. We actually don't care if he's riding his own buggy or not because he does increase city growth. The difference is a public transportation, we get more of a benefit than we do if they have a private transport. So we still get a benefit if they drive their own car. It's just if we're trying to grow the city, which, I mean, if we grow the city, we get more demand for freight and more demand for passengers. Oh, that goes back to the question you asked. What's the reason for the passengers? If you have industries want industrial goods and passengers want to go there to work, and commercial businesses want commercial goods and passengers go there to shop. So the more passengers you have, the more places people will go to work, and it's sort of they balance each other out. But in the end, this is not a city builder game, it's an industrial game. We really don't care if we ever haul goods or machine parts into Buffalo. We could just haul the parts to the factory and just leave them there on the dock. We still get paid. It's
My
just
question was based on does transporting the citizens help increase the growth of the city, right? Is that
absolutely it does. Because they're only one. See, and that's the thing with the passenger service versus the regular freight service. A Passengers are only going to want to go to a destination that they want to, which means they're in a residence and they want to go to a commercial location to shop or or business location to work. And that so by satisfying that need, the city will then create more industrial space or more commercial space.
I was also asking because if you're doing a a passengers only type factor, wouldn't having no industry also have that same negative effect
Well,
on your growth?
absolutely. And I'm not saying that this is how you would play the game. I just did this as a test to show that running passenger service in 1850 is absolutely doable. You're going to have to do some freight service to supplement it, unless you're playing on a lower setting. If we drop this down from very hard to hard, our revenue and our costs are going to change. And we're so, our margins here are so slim that if we just drop down to from very hard to hard, we're going to be profitable with just a single passenger line. So it's doable. In very hard, it's just like any other line. The margins are so slim because it works on, it's like a 25%. Everything's relative.
Yeah.
Your cost is $100 or 125 or 150, and then there's, I mean, even below medium, there's easy. You know, but like this guy's pulling in. I missed the I missed the number, but for last year we lost 172, 75 of that in loan interest. And our train service was profitable one year, $69,000. So whatever we were doing this year, we had a really good year for tickets. That must have been when we bled off, a bubble of passengers. But our maintenance is the same. Our maintenance for tracks and our maintenance for the stations is the same each year. It's just a matter of, can you get enough passengers on the train? And each time this train goes to a station, it's going to leave there with 70 or less passengers. It can never have more than 70 because that's all the train can hold, and it's gonna have 70 or less. We can't tell the game. And with freight, if we pull up to that quarry, Uncle Jed and Aunt May, they're pulling up to that quarry taking 204 loads of stone. It doesn't matter that there's 6,000 of it sitting in the cement factory already. It's just easier. I think there's far less challenge in just doing freight only. Although again, it has its challenges. You saw what we went through on the other map, trying to survive. And again,
Just did a drop off and we're at 53 from 60. I'm wondering if you could lose a car.
well, there's 45 people waiting here to go back. Well, we can drop a car off right now. Gives us back 171,000, but it also lowers our costs. So we'll see our cost change in the maintenance on vehicles. This next year it will drop down. And like you said, when I went up to 70 cars, because I had two, and then we went to four, and then we went to five. That bled off the bubble because we were leaving, double-digit passengers sitting at the stations. But once you bleed, is that a pressure bleed off, or is that there you go. We just left a couple people on the platform, but we only left four. Is it worth it to have that car that we just sold just for four people to get on it out of 14?
I think you'd have to have at least 7.
Yeah. And there are other people who would say, well, look, you didn't make a profit yet. So what's the downside to leaving the person at the station? I mean, nothing. They don't die and stink up the place. This isn't City Skylines where if somebody dies in their apartment and you don't remove them, people leave the building and it becomes abandoned. You know, um,
You don't have to suffer from bad customer service reputation.
no, no, you don't. So there is no downside to leaving people at the station except for one thing: it's lost revenue, and we're trying to maximize our revenue. And
Yeah, but if picking them up costs more, then it's no longer a lost revenue. It's avoiding losses.
yeah, it's just lost opportunity. You know. By the way, just to point out the fact, we only lost 73,000 last year or 2 years ago, 90,000 last year, and we were just up 70,000. So we're okay. We have the La Aubessante, so that means we can haul more passengers in our cities. Now we get the Rousseau Balt. That is a 60-kilometer passenger train. So that means that if we upgrade it to that, our train could go faster. So that could get us more revenue back. So that's another thing to consider. But the question is, we're at 7.5 million in a loan where we're maxed out at 10. Do we want to look at that? We just had a profitable year of 104,000, but we didn't because we sold a train that gave us back 171. So we really lost 67,000, and of that 75,000 was interest. So if we didn't have the loan, we would have made profit in 1869. Like we're just that close. And we're running at full speed here. The fastest game speed. It's 4 times the speed. And you know, we just have to get. And here's the other thing that people do. They play the 1850 complaining because they're horse and buggy. And it's like, well, if you can make money in 1850 so easily, why skip it? Because you can fail here real easy. you know.
That's right. People skip it and think it's a great payoff.
Yeah, and and again, I mean, that. That's why, you're playing Rust and there's so many people that complain about it because, they can't, they want to play and have fun. Again, hey, your game, your way. As I say, why GGW? You know, it's your game. You play whatever way you want, it's your pastime. If you, and I will quote Colonel Failure here when he reviewed my Cosmonaut guide. You got to be wired a certain way to play a game with this level of challenge or difficulty. You know, it's we could get down to a company value of negative 10 million, which means we can't buy anything else because we can't take out a loan. If we take out a loan, all we're doing is converting from overdraft, which is interest free, to a loan. That's another thing in this game. We're not paying an overdraft. We're only paying interest on the loan. There are other games like Railroad Corporation that if you overdraft past a certain amount in each of the scenarios, you just get fired and the game is over. You just can't buy, but you can get yourself operationally into an overdraft. Okay, we now have the Baldwin 56. So the Baldwin 56 will do 60 kilometers. So the question we kind of have to ask is, do we want to look at a newer, faster train or stay where we are? And the answer is kind of, we're not going anywhere better if we don't speed up or make more money. And we only have $2,500 or $2.5 million to play with. So let's go upgrade the train and see what we get. Give us a new one. So if we trade out our engine for the faster 45, 55, 60. Okay, so we got only one train that does 60, and she's got 284 kilowatts of power. So she's easily going to be able to pull compared to, we currently have the Russian Type T, which is 140 kilowatts. So we're doubling our power, but we're also doubling our operating costs for the train. However, it does let us get passenger cars that go 60 kilometers an hour.
And the speed will make a difference.
Yes. But, I mean, at this point, we're we've got the spreadsheet in front of us. We know what the numbers are. We just came out of, here's a 3-year cycle, 381, 462 gave us a profit, 256. Like we're going to go bankrupt. There is no, because it's, we needed to do something else, even if it's just having, cars hauling, logs across the map, making us an extra, $5,000 each truck each month, because all we really needed was an extra $100,000 or so. So the question is, do we want to go spend $2.5 million, throw in a bunch of trucks on the ground to haul, something from A to B just to ink out a few dollars and hope that that gets us over the hurdle? Or do we want to see if upgrading the train gets us enough money to get us closer? And then are we just in a race to the bottom? All right, let's see what we can do with this train here, because if we trade out the engine, let's see, 50, here we go, 60. Yep, 60. Okay, and then we're carrying 56 people. Passenger cars. There's 55. To buy that, we need 2.2 million. And we ain't going to be able to do it. What if we just trade out the... well, we got to take the loan anyway. Let's just max out the loan. At this point, give us all the monies. We got 2.1 million. Because after that, the grand experiment is over. Give us the faster train. And let's trade out our cars. If any one of these cars only does 50, the whole train does 50. So, you know, we have no choice. We have to trade them all out. So how many can we get? We can get 44. Oh, wait. Ooh, we didn't pull into the station. Do we want to take the 55 or stay at 44?
55 probably be better.
Okay, so we got 50. Well, all right, we're down to 40 grand. That's it. That's all we got. We cannot, unless there's something that we want to buy real quick, we are very quickly going to be unable to buy anything again. Unless this line produces more money by going faster. She's full. And she's going to get there quicker, which means she's going to pay us more than the previous train would make doing the same route.
Yeah. Now it's just about the stations producing enough to keep it full.
Yes, and here's the other thing. Had we bothered to write the number down, we'd know exactly how much it is. I mean, we could plug it into the calculator, but we can also look at this and go, wow, that's so much more. But we're just, you know, it's... I think these are fun experiments to try, you know? I mean, what's the point of playing a game if you can't dabble and trying different things out? How's your silo bunker housing thing going? Yeah, weren't you making a round building with the little apartment with the locker and the bunk things?
Yeah. I'm going pretty good with it.
All right, so what's your opinion? Better game for PvP? Rust or Ark? I mean, can't...
I think they both have their pros and cons.
Yeah. I guess which one's easier for somebody to play on any PC?
That comes down to the player itself on that sense.
I mean, in terms of game performance, you know, I mean, isn't Rust a lot less heavier than Ark?
Yes. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you come across a fucking huge clan base, and that can drop your performance to the gutter.
So somebody builds a huge clan base, can you just not stay away from there and then just attack them when they're out in no man's land, sort of?
Not if you want to take them out.
Well, good point. I mean, even in Space Engineers, I've seen people do it on different servers. And, you know, the reality is when you look, you know, you talk to the wizard behind the curtain there. Uh,
For
well,
the year.
I mean, see, we spent the 2 point almost, let's call it 2.3 million, and we lost 2.4 on the upgrade. So if we hadn't done the upgrade, I mean, we had 104. No, because we sold the train. So yeah, we're still, you know, we're overdrawn right now. So at this point, it's just a matter of how long does she stay overdrawn until we just go, okay. You know, it was fun, but you know, we're in 1872. This stream has been going for an hour and 5 minutes. All it took me to set up this map was to go, random. I picked the map. I set it to very hard, and then I said, random, give me all the cities you can, and give me the max number of industries. And we haven't touched the industries at all. If we would have just touched a single industry, I mean, I can reload the save. If we reload the save, we had $6 million available to spend. We could have easily set up a line. We wouldn't even need to do a train. We could have just done trucks and had it haul logs from logs from a forest to a sawmill, and we would have made money on each of those one-way trips.
Sure making money now. Because this was in the green. It looks like the next one's going to be in the green too, isn't it?
Well, for the line itself, the line's making money. This as far as the train operating. It's just when we have to then, apply it against the cost of the tracks, because the line costs don't include the tracks or the stations. That's your fixed overheads. I mean, at this point, we have a maximum loan of 10 million, and we're overdrawn at the bank. So unless our bank balance becomes positive, we're busted. I mean, am I going to call this as a failure on passenger only? I mean, you don't run a railroad with passenger only. I mean, that's why Amtrak makes so much money, and people talk about it all the time. Is you know, 'cause, they don't. I mean, the railroads back in this era, they were hauling mixed trains with passengers and freight, or like the Rock Island, the Chicago Rock Island Pacific Railroad. It just didn't haul from Chicago out to the Mississippi. They had local trains driving around Chicago every day. And they were hauling freight everywhere. You've got to have a mixed. And I guess that's the other part of this. This is a transport game. You wouldn't play this game saying, "Oh, I'm only going to transfer wood." Okay, I mean, why would you give up a lucrative line right next to you know, where you're deadheading wood when you could pick up something else and carry it back? You wouldn't. It's a transport game. I mean, if you're role playing and you're saying that, I'm a role player here and, I only want to haul wood back and forth, okay, go for it. But on very hard, in a purely random map, I picked 3 cities at random. I ran the tracks in between them. We've only had a passenger service, and there's 3 bus lines. That's all that's on this map. And, you know, man, our margins are we're so close to profit on everything. It's just,
What's that Buffalo?
that's the bus intercity in Buffalo. She's running 29 out of 44 people. I guess we've cleared out the bubble on her. We could have gotten rid of a couple of the vehicles.
That might help you with the profit.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately, here's the problem. The Sycamore Street station has 32 people waiting. Those people want to go to the 3 other stops around town. So, do we want to cut the costs in Buffalo and leave people waiting? You know, I mean, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Do we, like right now, we've got 44 out of 55 on the train. Do we sell one of the cars? I mean, we can, but then we're leaving people on the platform, and is that what's stopping us? Where's the sweet spot? Because we just picked up 55, but on that one trip, we could have sold one of the cars. Where is the sweet spot?
Well, the train's running a profit right now, so I think it's almost in the sweet spot.
Okay.
Whereas the buses right there in Buffalo, when you had the general overview,
Yeah, she's down 18. So all right, 38 of 44. So let's say we get rid of four trains here, four of these buses. Drop us back down to 8.
you just gotta watch from which one you pull it from.
Man, that's all the same. So a few people get kicked to the curb. And then we've got, let's see, this is in.
You got one of the vehicles that were in bad condition.
Yeah, but all that does is affect the pollution in town. And here's the thing. Here's Buffalo. She's got 229 people, but she's losing 32 residents because of emissions. So do you want 32 more people in Buffalo? If you want them, we'd have to increase the maintenance costs on the train plus these buses inside of Buffalo. Now, an option that you could do is you run the passenger train so that she doesn't come anywhere near your people in Buffalo. If the train if let's say the passenger train stopped over here by the industrial buildings, we wouldn't be suffering a negative effect from the train's pollution. But then you miss this, the catchment that gets these people on the train right away. So, and again, here's the other problem. You build the train station over here, every time the city, because this isn't a city builder, the city builds on its own. Every time the city puts down one of these buildings, you take a chance that some of these are residential. And if the game decides that this is a residential street for some reason, unless you come back to the town to watch and micromanage it and delete that building in hopes that they then build back over here, you run the risk that you're going to take an emissions hit. And yeah, and every time you delete a building, like this one right here, the game wants $200,000 or the game wants, 25,000. So you're taking a micromanagement hit on costs, after the fact or before, and you really have to, manage what you're doing.
So how's the ledger look?
Well, we're down a half mil, so I mean, there's no reason to pull up the big sheet because we know what the big number is. You know, but I mean, road service was down $30,000.
It was so close that it keeps flipping.
Yep. I mean, look at this. Railroad service only lost $1,000 last 3 years ago. Last year, it made a profit of 22. I mean, that is just, again, that's not covering this $99,000, and it's not covering this hundred. But it's so, that's the thing. It's so close that it makes you want to try to get it working. You know, I mean, we can't make any. The only changes we can make now is to sell off excess buses and stuff. But that's never going to bring us back negative 700,000. We would have to reload back to, and in this case, because I would never reload, I would start back from scratch. But we could reload this game save back to where autosave left us when we were, just at the start of this stream. And then we'd have to make a decision that said we need an extra $100,000 profit. Like that's all we need. So, how do we make $100,000 profit? Well, we got farms right here. You know, is there a food factory nearby? Um, here's a steel mill. The game gave us a road already. Here's a coal mine. Here's another coal mine. We all we had to do was just put some cars on here, and it would have ran the coal back and forth, and that might have made us an extra $5,000, $7,000 each trip, and then a couple of those, and it would have put us into the black. That's how close this is to saying. And okay, am I a purist? Am I being pedantic when you go, well, that's not passenger only? No, it's not. But it is a bit of reality. You're so close to making it. And if you're going to sit there and go, well, sir, if you even haul 1 ounce of coal from here to the steel mill, you're not passenger only. Okay, whatever. You know, I mean, we were just down 700,000. Now we're down 555. Now we're back up to down 6. Like, we're just so close, you know. And if you want to play a passenger only game, and in order to make it possible, on very hard even, I mean, we're not even talking, there's people who don't even play on medium, they play on easy. You know, we got to haul a couple of lumps of coal around, you
I
know.
think though, if you look at the ledger,
Yeah,
we've gone from being 169,000 negative to 109.
yeah, yep. It is just that slim. I mean, and again, here's the thing. We're not failing here. We're not crashing. We're just on the edge of not making it. We are so close. And I look at that and I say, man, go for it. You know,
Yeah,
why would you not?
yeah.
Here you go. Hey, let's do this. Let's restart the stream on easy. Pick up from anywhere on the map and haul it, anywhere else. You know, it's just I'm I'm gonna call this. Can I show you the plane thing?
Yeah.
All right. Let me, just as an example. I'll grab a.
Show your stream.
No, the stream's still going. I'll pull up the exact same settings that I just had. I'm just gonna make one difference, and that's gonna be our start year. Now I don't know if we're gonna have enough money to buy an airport. We'll find that out. I think these challenges are fun things. I guess here's the other thing, because I mean, you've talked about it in the games that you play. There's people who sit on the forum and go, I did some analysis and I ran some numbers, blah, blah, blah. And you say, hey, great, can you send me a link to when you post a guide on the workshop? And you never hear from them again. It's like, dude, we know you just pulled it out of your ass and you guessed. And then there's other people who actually take the time, and they play a character or they play a gun, or I got a train guide on Soviet Republic where somebody made. The only reason they even came up was because some guy made a comment about it cost X amount of money to do something. Okay, so now we started in the year 2000, and immediately the game now gives us $50 million. Okay, we've done nothing different. We just started in a different year. We're still very hard. Okay, we got a food factory here in Santa Clara. Okay, and here's a farm. So we're going to put an airport in here. Give me a cargo airport. Pass passenger. Give me a cargo airfield. What's the difference? Oh, large aircraft. Absolutely, we want large aircraft. And, you know, like every realistic airport, we want to be right next to a food factory. Come on. Can we connect here? There we go. Look at that. Boom. Now we're going to go to the very opposite end of the map, and we're looking for a thing called a farm. Okay. Here's a farm. And look at that. Sterling Heights. She wants food. So if we drop the airport in, if we drop it in, let's see, we want, who wants, where are the people that want the food? They're in here somewhere. Oh, it's that one building. That's not the best we could hope for. Let's see if we got a better city. How about this one over here? Does she want food? No. You know what? We'll haul it from here anyway. Because this city will grow as soon as the food gets in here. But that's not the point. The point is the city wants food. So now, here's the problem. How do we get from the farm to the airport? We're going to need a truck terminal. Cargo, truck. All right, that gives us... This is not even ideal building. Give us rural roads. Gesundheit.
Oh, sorry. Been coughing and I've totally missed lifting the boom down. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Light it up.
Sir, you are the only person in the world to ever do that. It's, hey, we'll fix it in post. All right. You know, as a goof here, we really didn't need a bus stop there because we only needed the building back here. We could have made a truck stop rather. But we do need the pickup point back here. So we're going to pick up here. And let's put it in here. Okay, pick up here. And then we need a route that comes over here, picks up the crops, new line, picks up the crops, drops them off at the airport. Okay, so we're going to call that crops to the airport. We need a depot, and because it's the modern era, new vehicles give us cargo trucks. We'll take the Cascadia. Look at that, 405 power. You know, they compare that to that train. I mean, just talk about a difference of plane in different eras. It costs less to operate than the train, has more power, you know, and goes faster. I mean, it's just like you cannot compare one era to the next. That should be enough. All right, now we're going to do, we need a line that goes from here, and we want you to fly all the way across the map for no purpose in that whatsoever to here. And so now when you come to Santa Clara, you are going to load food and you're going to deliver crops. That's it. That's all we're going to tell her. So now Oh, that's Santa Clarita. Don't they eat zombies there or something? Isn't that a zombie movie? Santa Clarita Diet. New vehicles.
I don't know.
We want a cargo plane. We want large. And we want, well, we got to be careful here because we could really burn ourselves. Let's take the 737. Needs $11 million. How much can we borrow max here? Ching, 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 ching. Ka-ching. Okay, 12.4. Back to the airport. There's our Boeing. The Tupolev. We can't afford that. We'll just take the Boeing. It's a safe bet. Put that on the line. And off we go. Max speed. Now let's see how long it takes until we're profitable here. And really, we're not doing this to be profitable-ish. We're just...
Making fun of the system.
Well, I mean, this just points out how easy freight is. You know, and and again, when you see people who go, I don't start in 1850, it's too hard. Or I don't, and very few people say that because, that requires you to admit that you're going to fail. What they'll say is, oh, I don't want to start in 1850, it's too slow with a horse and buggy. Well, what's the difference between a horse and buggy? What's the difference between those two trains that we were looking at and that tarpaulin, semi that we just bought? They're just things that haul stuff. It's a matter of how much do they haul, how much they cost, and how fast they go. We are literally flying a 737 across the map just to go pick up some crops.
Drop off some bread.
Yep. Although, you can go online and order, beignets from Cafe Du Monde to be overnighted to you. So, I mean, is there any difference? Okay, hold on. Before she hits the station, look at that. There's already food here. Crops, and we're full. we're full already. One of those semis came, delivered 40, of food. By the way, the semi's making money on that route, I'll bet you. Let's see. Let's wait until this train gets back there. All these cities, because of how, the age that we're in, are growing up so fast.
They're moving it at such rates that the system's like going, oh shit, we need more power.
Yep. I mean, look at that. We're almost hitting 1,000 kilometers an hour on this run. The pilot's like, whoa, dude, slow down. We're going to overrun the airport. I mean, that's how. Okay, how much money is it going to make? All we're doing is carrying 20 loads of crops. All right, I've stopped it. Call it. How much you think?
I have no clue.
3.1 million.
Jeez.
Okay. Now, there's the food factory. It's already taken the food in. It's processing the food. We're leaving empty because of how quick our turnaround is. So, and you see it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So when we come back on this next trip, there will be the food to take back. But we could put 5 more of these on this line, and it wouldn't matter. The farms are just going to keep spitting out all the food we can take. So, most games start out easy and get harder. I mean, the only challenge here is just don't be stupid, you know, and, haul everything by, jet everywhere to where the lines individually are profitable. But as long as you've got a couple of these long haul runs, they can make up for a lot of. Look at all that food waiting, all that crops. We're not even going to sit for a second to me out of here. And the next trip back, we're not coming back empty. We're coming back with food. So we'll make money on the round trip. Now, we're not going to be full because we didn't pick a 1-to-1 crop. We picked a 2-to-1 or industry. If we had picked, if we had gone to a quarry and picked up stone to haul back to a construction plant, we would have been full each way, 1-to-1. And this is with the random generator. There are people who go in, I mean, I obviously did some editing on the Mississippi map, but my editing was to make it harder. There are people who go into the game and they make it so that every city on the map uses the exact same 2 goods, so they only have to manufacture 2 goods. It's like, okay, hey man, your game your way. If the challenge that you want is to deliver only 2 goods, that's up to you. Just don't come into the room where people are talking about delivering 6 and brag about how awesome you're doing. And if you're not willing to share, and isn't that the beauty of science? You have to be willing to share your failures as well as your successes. Okay, here comes another 3.1 million. Yep. And now, wait, why did we not load up? Did I misconfigure something? Hold on. Line 1. Manage the line. We're in Santa Clarita? Yes, we are. Santa Clarita. Okay. Load. I'll just change it to load and unload all in case I fat fingered something. Sterling Heights. She's taking all. Why are we not picking up food? This plane takes all, doesn't it? Yeah, all cargo. What did I... We have catchment to the food factory. We're taking in the food. It's consumers. It's recognizing Sterling Heights as a consumer, but it's not shipping. We have catchment. I missed something here. Because we do need that little bit of return revenue.
Do you need a wagon to get it from?
No, because we don't need a wagon to go from the airport to the food terminal. We're in the catchment range. The little road tendrils here, the glowing white stuff. And we're using the food. And it sees Sterling Heights as a consumer. But yeah, let's just make sure. Okay, we're gonna have to send a truck into Sterling Heights to make the delivery. Streets, building, cargo, truck unload stop. That one, oh, you know, that one building is just out of our catchment area. That's what it is. You see the airport here?
Mm-hmm.
It's grabbing this street, but it didn't grab that one building.
So we're not
So,
making food.
yeah, once we put this here, and if anybody else wants food, we'll put another one back here just for the hell of it. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to tell these semis that when they come in here with their crops, um, we're going to tell them to make a stop over here. And you know what? We're not going to do that. We'll make it a separate delivery line.
No, no, no. I think you're right. Those cars are pretty big, right?
Yeah, yeah, they're
So even if you only did one or two right now, you'll go from one to the other back and forth, and that just balances out the time it takes for them to, or for them to make sure it's a full load every time.
you know what? That's a good point. You
It
know,
doesn't matter if something waits as long as your trucks are always full.
well, as long as as long as the airport's full, because the airport's going to be full, because it's already. I mean, look, we got 198. That plane can go back and forth 10 more times.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's the thing with the other airport. Do we leave the plane here for a second, or do we let it make a bad run again? Because you can't turn. If we turn the plane around right now, it wants to go to Sterling Heights. If we tell it to go to Santa Clarita, it's going to take off, do a touch and go, and come back around.
I thought it was saying it's gonna you're gonna waste money either way.
Well, yeah, but we want to see how much money we're making on the because the food's already here. All the rest of the food the factory made and just disappeared. And here she comes. She's coming back in.
Yep.
Here's the worst part. Here's a farm. If we take a truck from here and have it also delivered to this factory,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter. It will still bring the stuff in by air, which will just ensure that we're going back full.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so easy to game the this sort of air freight run.
I calculating money.
I mean, the argument is, well, you have to have enough money to buy an airport, sir. Okay, well, we just started the game. They gave us more than enough money to set up two airports. You know, eventually those trees will stop growing.
What trees?
The trees that we keep clipping as we fly real close to the top of that hill on the
Mm. Yeah, how
because
it flies through the trees every time.
yeah, yeah, because there is no collision. Okay, we're coming in with just 4 pieces of food. 658,000. So we're gonna haul out 20 food and make 3.1. We're gonna come back because it's a 2-to-1 loss. We're gonna come back with 10 pieces of food and make another 1.2. So this is almost a $5 million profit run each trip. And
You're
for
you're almost already out of debt.
yeah, you just let it run a little bit, and boom, you're. And then after that, every year, it's just throwing millions of dollars into your bank account. You tell me. By the way, we're still on very hard. If we,
Just add another plane to that.
yep. Now imagine we drop back down to hard, let alone medium or easy. How much more money would be in the bank right now?
Damn.
Yeah. And you don't have to go far on the the Steam discussion page to find people telling you like, I don't play on, it's too hard, it's impossible. It's like, what do you mean it's impossible? How is this? See, the problem with a lot of the people is they think that they're actually hauling food. You know, okay, where is our? Oh, because we burned. You know what? Let's set up that truck run.
Just try go A and try go B.
Yep. Um. Well, can we borrow more money? Why? Oh my goodness! Yes, we can. Give us a road. 100 kilometers. Take us straight across. You know what? Take us all the way to the factory.
See,
There you go.
definitely lets you borrow more money. You paid them off once. Why not get more money from you?
All right, buildings. We want a truck stop.
That's what the credit's all about.
Hey, it's all about leverage, man. Now give us a drop off point here. And then we need another line.
They also know you have assets they can sell.
There's a guy in New Jersey who owned a couple New Jersey businesses who constantly was going bankrupt. And he had casinos with his name on it and hotels and stuff. And he made a comment many, many years ago that said, when you owe the bank $100,000, you're going to the bank. And when when you owe the bank $100 million, they're coming to you. You know. All right, just give us. Um, wow, that is an expensive truck. I never noticed how expensive they were, because at this point in time, you always have billions of dollars in the bank. It is not a free vehicle. Line two. Okay, next trip around, just so we see how much this truck makes. Deadheading crops to a food factory that's making food to put on an airplane to fly to the very far end of the map. I mean, we might as well be a truck in Maine picking up lobsters. Wait. Why did we not pick up? We have catchment to the crops. Yes. And we want to go here, which has catchment to the food factory. Consumers, the Santa Clarita Food Processing Plant. It says it's shipping 3. Yeah, turn around, buddy. Where is your crops going? Why is she not shipping? Manage the line. Santa Clarita South. Load. Load everything, but load food. Load crops. This is sometimes one of those that needs to bake in once to know that it actually will get there. You let it run the loop.
You're probably somewhere stuck in the function where it's already done the pickup call and now it's just trying to loop for that next call.
Yeah. Or again, the blind guy made a mistake. that's that's probably way more likely. Okay. Where is the food she says she's shipping 6, but where is she sending it? I'm not seeing it. Okay, let's just.
Is there any catchment on that farm?
There is, but I'm just going to move it closer just for the hell of it. Give me a truck depot. Yep.
I was thinking about anything else that might have been.
Yeah, no, there's nothing on the way. And the game. Nope, and the game auto recognizes it as the stop. You turn yourself around, buddy. That's a farm. Make sure we can haul all cargo. All cargo. Where are those crops going? Because they ain't going here.
Is it accounting for the local farmers market?
I don't know, man. That is weird, isn't it? I mean, there it is. Finally showed up. All right. Is the truck on her way back? There she comes. Okay, she'll take us back to the airport. Um, at 100 kilometers. Just, you know, compared to that train. And she drops off, makes a couple of bucks. Now she heads back. So now there's the plane taking off. She's got 9 out of 10. So she's got a half load. So hopefully by the next time we come back, we will have kicked up that extra bit of food. And then we go back with a full load. Yep. Yep. I mean, again, given the choice between starting in the year we're in the year 2000. We are still playing very hard. Okay. We're going to start paying off the loan shortly. I'd rather be back in 1850 struggling and failing. Because this is as hard as it gets. I mean, that's why, like on the Mississippi River, that's why I've got single track everywhere, because I've got to do switching instead of double track, because that's easier. That's why I only do single track through tunnels to make them more of a challenge. That's why I made a custom map to make it, more difficult. That's why all the iron to make steel is up in the mountains in Minnesota. It's a challenge to get it out of there. All the oil is down off the Gulf Coast, and it's, you know, I mean, we don't have to look far on this map to find. Here's a sawmill, and there's a machinery factory that will take the planks from the sawmill. All we got to do is find a forest anywhere near here. And there's one right here, Evansville. So we could haul from Evansville to the sawmill. Matter of fact, there's a sawmill right over here. No, it's a tool factory. There you go. Oh my God, that's even better. We could haul from the forest to the sawmill, come back full, because the sawmill is, well, the sawmill's 2 to 1, so we'd come back half full. But using the exact same flat cars, because wood and planks get carried on the same cars. So we haul these logs, we come up here, we get planks, we bring them back here to the tool factory, and then we just have a simple truck run them into town and it'll deliver them too. I mean, we'd be printing money here. Even in 1850. Well, the hard part in 1850 is, we got to get over that. But in 2000, I mean, even for a tractor and trailer, that's a no-brainer. It's an easy run. And if you're just going to build tunnels anyway, we lost our plane. That's the truck. Vehicles. There she is. Okay, she's carrying 11 out of 20 bread. So that semi still isn't baked in for delivering. Yeah, like there's only 6 sitting on the platform. So that semi is not. Yeah, she's good. Yeah, the semi is not even full. So that farm is not giving us enough crops. Because it sees all this stuff sitting up here. It's some interesting stuff, man. And it's all just transport. And isn't that the beauty of these sandbox games? There's a guy that we have on the Discord, the 7 Days to Die. He is freaking deadly as anything with the bow and arrow. I mean, he goes around and the first day he was with us, he immediately made himself a bow and arrow, had a bunch of arrows, happened to look in the window and went, dude, how the hell did you just kill 100 zombies? I mean, he just, he would go to a building and just kill every single thing in the building. And he was only looting the most valuable stuff that he needed and then going on to the next building. He was nonstop just killing zombies. You know, there there are other people. I mean, we had one guy on here who, he got mad if he couldn't be the farmer setting up a farm at the base. I mean, that guy had very little zombie kills because he wanted to be the farmer playing the game.
Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah, and I mean that's sort of the beauty. That's a well-designed sandbox game that different people can play it different ways and still have fun. I mean, I give 7 Days to Die a lot of credit. It really is. Once you deal with people complaining about how often Horde Night is, it's a really good multiplayer game. And the people that complain are really complaining because they don't understand, that there is no difference between Horde Night 7 and 14. It depends upon. I mean, the difference is there's a difficulty scale of, you know, Horde Night 1 through 7, but then the cycle repeats itself.
Well, there actually is a small difference in one and seven. I mean, in 7 and 14.
Yeah, but if you
There's
set
only 3 waves in seven.
yeah, but if you set horde night, if we're playing a game and it's we've had day 49 and now it's day 56, we're back to cycle day 1. So like it's the same now. If you and I were brand new players on day 56, our horde night would be the same as if it was day 7 because we're the first day in the cycle.
No, there's a hundred and was it 100 and I
Man,
want to say almost like 140 different levels of Horde Nights.
yeah, it's a 7-day cycle though, and then it's based upon your game level of who's on during horde night. But if you're a brand new player and you happen to be online by yourself, and it's day 7 or it's day 56, and it's a 7-day, and horde night is set to every 7 days. I mean, that's like Jawoodle when he did the day 1000 horde night and the day 666 horde night. The thing that made a difference was his game stage level.
Yeah.
You know, but the game's just as fun. But if you and I went and joined a 7 days a die server right now that had been running for a couple months, and it was horde night, and you and I were the only two on, we could still have fun. It wouldn't be insta death.
No, because it bases it upon your game stage for what
Yeah,
it sends.
and who's online? Yeah, yeah. It's like they did a good job that way. You know, to kind of say,
Filtering the players.
yeah, to saying, well, we don't care we don't care who's in the player database. We want to know who's online, and then that's who has to face the horde. Yep. We are still not hauling back a full load of food. So again, we're just hovering around here.
So it looks like you're losing money every year.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, we haven't been at this long. We're just in year 6. But this truck is not delivering full loads of crops. We cannot get that farm to spit out. You know what? What if we tell them to? Well, this should not make a difference, but let's tell them to wait until full. It's not going to cause the farm to spit out anymore, but
Doesn't that reduce your maintenance downtime?
it's there's a speculation that says that if it's idle, your maintenance is less. But go find somebody who's made a video where they bought a train or a truck or an airplane and left it sitting in the hangar for like 5 or 10 years to show you the numbers, and you can't find it.
You can't find the numbers, or can't find anybody who's made a video of it.
You can't find anybody who's actually done it and proved it. Oh, so back to the railroad track thing. So there's a guy who did a video on Soviet Republic, and he was talking about something to do with trains. And he made this comment that if you put down railroad tracks first, then come back and electrify them, it's cheaper. And I was like, what? Where did you come up with that? like, like he just, he had a thought, and then he decided to just keep repeating it as this is fact in the game. And I thought, well, where, and I was like, where did you come up with this? And he said, well, it's what I saw. It's like, it's what you saw. Okay, so now I have a railroad guide for a video game where I went and built, huge stretches of track, and of all different types and tracked every single item in the costs and mapped it all out and said, "No, sir, that's you're wrong. It's it was a difference of whether it was cheaper to incrementally build the tracks or whether it was just to build the new ones. And I don't remember which way the analysis went, but whatever it was, the guy was wrong. But unlike the clown who posted on the forums today or yesterday now about you can't run a transport, you can't run a transport passenger train in the 1850s. I mean, yeah, pedantically, he's right. We lost money and went bankrupt, but we lasted 30 years, and all we had to do was just put down something to make that extra few bucks, and we would have gotten there. And I mean, look at how we're playing. It's the middle of the night. I'm sitting here with a beverage next to me, and we were playing at blazing fast speed. we're by no means being the most careful people here, and we got really close. So,
I think with a little more fine tuning, would have gotten it.
well, and the fine tuning might have been not to buy the upgrade in the first place, because that would have saved us some of that money early on and let us make it just a little bit further, till the train upgrade came in, or you know. But then it's a matter of, are you really making money in 1850, or are you just
I
holding
think the
on?
farm's working. He just pulled in, picked up a load, and was basically out right after.
Oh wow, I didn't see how quick he turned around.
Yeah,
Well, let's see if we get a full load of food this time coming back. This was a bad example for this discussion. I mean, we should have done, stone to a quarry. But the point is still, you know, we're getting close. And is this truck profitable yet? Okay. Oh yeah, it's definitely. You're right. Good call spotting that. Well, he's still waiting a few seconds, but not long.
it was like the farm had to figure out what it could actually, what level of production it needed to have.
Well, I think the farm is probably because it's seeing all the crops that we're leaving up there at the airport. So it's kind of like, why should this farm spit out more crops when there's. That is a huge ferry increase in the game, for running passenger service. By the way, no mods on this at all. This is I don't. This is just straight, random map and very hard. I got to go make a box car for my game with my picture on the side and my name. Because that's what you do when you're in a stream, right? You have to have. Okay, 13 out of 20. We're still not full. But hey, maybe the truck service will
But
save
it's
us.
getting far. It's building more and more. It was only at 11 before.
Yep. Well, let's see what the big board says. We had a profitable year one year here. Again, you know, middle of the night, last minute, hey, let's do this. Hoo-hoo. That's the extent of our pre-planning here. And, we're bringing in a huge amount of revenue and we're getting really close to making a profit. And I will remind you, we are playing on very hard. All
Is the
we,
truck profitable?
yep. So not only is that line profitable, but this one, she's got two trucks on her. If we get rid of one of them, Because obviously we don't need all this up here. Her cost will go down, and we'll see her be more profitable. Yeah, another good call. Because again, I'm sitting here looking at this as we got millions coming in. In a regular game, we wouldn't be doing just this. We'd have a whole network of stuff established. And again, I mentioned it on the stream earlier, but you know, thank you for the help the other day trying to go through because between you and I had three. there's really I had five people helping me look at that map to figure out what do we have to do here to make those little cuts and trims things to turn the game around. But the Mississippi map is on hard and making money. You know, there's no way some of the stunts that I'm doing on that map we could be doing on very hard. Like the no flip stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you see how close we're having to be on these routes to all of a sudden just go, hey, hey, take an extra 2 minutes. You know, our costs would go up, the revenue. Yeah, see, we're just still not making enough food over there in that factory. We're taking something back, but not enough. This is another, I would just call this, you know, I think the point is made even if the numbers are still in the red. You know, that we are just so close. And again, I didn't even think about it, if we had done, logs to a sawmill and back or, virtually anything. As long as we're not going back empty. And really, you know what? We don't need to go back empty. We can find, I mean, we could find something over here. What is it that we're picking up here? Oh, we're picking up food here. So we're profitable here. It's a matter of what could we find up here at Santa Clarita to make sure she goes back. I mean, we could bring in iron. Do we have a steel mill down here? Demand for steel. There's not a steel mill in the like right next to it, sort of thing. I mean, at that point, we're making a transportation network. We're all over. But the point is, we're on no mods, random map, very hard, and we're making profits here on the lines. We just need to watch these expenses a little bit, and then we're in the profit overall. And again, for the person who's going to be very pedantic about this, you know, your line's only making 1 million and your costs are 1,500,000. Yeah, okay, well, tweak the lines. Don't sit here at 2 in the morning without any planning or anything. And we've made several mistakes doing this. And I mean, you just said it. If we were to go back to 1851 on that line and just throw down, you know, not buy as many passenger cars or as many buses, let the people sit at the station waiting. As long as the line's profitable, who cares? But if somebody's going to tell me you can't make money doing that, I'm like, okay, show me where you tried it. You know, Why is that damn food factory not like right now? We should be making 15 units of food.
Yeah, I was just looking at the same thing, going, why is it not doing the food? It dropped it again.
I mean, the truck, it's almost full waiting, so the truck doesn't have to wait very long to get full.
No.
So, and the truck's profitable. Okay, and what about line one, the one bringing the crops down to the airport?
There's always crops there, so it's got to be doing it right.
Nope, because the line's not long enough.
The line's not long enough.
Yeah. See, for how much the truck costs to operate, we don't have the right vehicle for that type of line at that distance. See, the cost to operate that line, we're just losing money. If we were to haul those crops a little bit further, we'd generate a little more revenue and then it would swing us
Or
around.
use a cheaper vehicle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Or switch to a cheaper vehicle, which we can't buy because we're in the negative. I mean, I have to take out a bigger loan to, which is just going to increase our interest cost. But again, we're not making a profit even without interest. We're just losing money. If we could just get this plane to not deadhead, that would be enough to swing us around. But I mean, there's no problem getting crops to the airport. Do we have I mean, how much do we want to micromanage this scenario? I think the point I was trying to make though is, do you see how crazy easy this is?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it needs fine tuning. We're playing on very hard. You have to fine tune everything at this level. You know, you can't just if you drop down even to medium, let alone easy. I mean, it's just crazy how much shit comes in.
What about that bread right just north of you?
Bread just north from here.
Yeah.
Um, oh, you mean the city here? Surprise? Oh, to deliver food there? Um, I mean, we could run it up there also. Increase our demand. How long do you want to game this out?
Okay. I'm for it.
Okay. All right. The bread demand is. Well, I got to take out a loan to do it. So let's see if we can or if we're. Okay. But we don't need that much money. Pause the game. Throw down a bus stop, a truck stop. We got catchment to all of the town here. Okay. We'll add that to our route. I mean, this is not ideal. Let's um, let's get the deliveries off this route. We'll do a separate delivery route. All right, pick up at the airport, take it into the city, and then go down to here. Pick up at the airport, take it down to here. Could not connect all stations. Is there not a road that goes to Surprise? She comes through here, No, there's not. We need a road. All right. 100-kilometer road. Okay. Now we need, let's buy better vehicles. We need something to haul cargo that's not going to break the bank. This thing's 153 for 30. 127 for 25. We can just take the gases. They haul 16.
How fast are they?
90 versus 100. I mean, the Peterbilt does 80. This gives us 90. And we're not going to, I mean, how much are we really going to haul? Do we need to haul 30s or 16s in the cities? Let's take 4 of these and we'll put them on the city. Go ahead.
I would go with the fastest you can get a small.
Well, that's a 90 that hauls 16. The alternative is a 100 that hauls 25 or a 100 that hauls 30.
Where's the 100? Which one's the 100 for 30?
That's the Cascadia. Tarpaulin.
And it can carry all?
They can yeah.
I go with that.
Okay. Let me see if I can borrow money to buy 2 of them.
I mean, I wouldn't go with the big guy. I would go with
That is the big guy. That is the biggest one. That's the Cascadia Tarpaulin truck. 100 kilometers hauls 30. We can drop down to the 40 tonner. That's 100 hauls 25.
be a little cheaper.
Yeah, 127 versus 150, and it's also cheaper to buy. But then the question is, what's the difference between that and buying the gas, which does 90 and hauls 16? Are we spending more time on the highway, or are we spending more time driving in the city where we're never going to get up to 100?
You have a big ass long highway. You're going to be on the highway long.
Well, then we're buying the big truck or we're buying the 25. Let's put 2 25s on the bigger run. And then we'll put 2 of the gases on the shorter one, because that one doesn't have to go across the highway. Okay, so now which route is the longer one? The one that goes to Surprise is line 4. So we're going to call that. So we're going to put the 2 semis on that line. Okay, and then line 3 is the one that goes into the city right here.
This got too big for the
Yeah. And then, so just so we can balance stuff out now. So delivery, when it comes here, it can go to either station to drop off, just to try and speed things up. The pickups, line 3 is delivering into Sterling Heights. Sterling Heights. Okay. So when she picks up, we're going to wait till full for a minute, and she's in spot 1. And Surprise is going to pick up in spot 2. Also wait till full. And let's do a little bit of station edit real quick. figure. Come in. And then pull out. All right. You know, that wasn't very smart. Now that we did it, because we're paying for these trucks to sit here idle, and we're trying to get food delivery, and we're not bringing enough food here. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're trying to see if that increases the demand over here at the factory. Because it should start spitting out more food because we've increased its consumers. Yeah, Surprise and Sterling. Yeah, see Surprise and Sterling Heights now as consumers. So it should start giving us. Man, we are still not getting 20 food here. That's what we need is the 20 food.
Yep.
I mean, this guy's coming in with the 30 food still, the 30 crops, and making a profit doing it. Leave him with 7 out of 10.
Better than it was. But again, we've seen it dip to 11s and 13s.
Yeah.
But it has been hanging at 5 for a while now, so 7 might be finally getting back in there.
Well, remember the horse and buggy? Yeah, here they are. Get rid of that street light. Go, fend for yourselves. Yumble for City Skylines does really good videos about intersection analysis. And it's funny because all the analysis that he does now, there's a guy who made a video like 5 years ago who did like City Skylines analysis of 15 different intersections. Did it in one big video and it's got like 25, 30 million views. And, after that one video, you could make a City Skylines channel just going through that guy's one video and just reproduce it yourself. Each intersection is a separate video and do analysis. And then the next day make another video saying how that intersection sucks. And just, and then the day after come back and go top 3 intersections. You could make yourself a City Skylines channel just off of that. But yeah, the traffic backlog in here is horrendous. Man, so many vehicles.
traffic's like that though because you have no public transportation.
Yeah, there's zero public transportation. Also, on the Mississippi map, I went in and made sure that there were no roads connecting any cities or factories. The game by default puts roads out and connects the whole map together. Now, as we just saw, connecting from here to Surprise, there might not be every city connected together, but they're at least connected to something else. If there's a factory near a city, it's got a connection to the city. And what happens, like for me, is those roads are all windy and stuff. I have to go through and delete them to then rebuild the better laid out road that I'm putting in. But what happens is all of these default maps, all this traffic here, it's you can see it right here, and you know they got all these people wanting to go to Evansville. We're handling none of it. We built that road to Surprise. Boom! This huge amount of connections all jumped up, all because we put that one truck road in.
Mm.
And because we didn't put a bus on the road, we paid for the road. And because, we're now paying for the road, and we're making no, we're getting no benefit out of it financially, except for our, this one truck with its 3 pieces of bread. See how quick she can get there. That was a pretty shitty turn, I put it. Just like train tracks, when you're building the roads later on, especially the highways, if you don't curve them properly, you bleed off a lot of your speed.
Yep.
And this game does not like changing lanes. I mean, you physically can just feel it if you're watching a truck going down a highway. And like a city skylines intersection, you'd have like a 3-lane highway with a turnoff. Well, now that means you only have 2 lanes that go up until the other turn in comes back in, for like a clover leaf or a trumpet or any type of interchange, like a real road does. Some roads, the turning lane stays, others it goes away. But if you try and do that sort of math in this game, you'll see the vehicle, like, it looks like it just comes to a damn complete stop and then just goes woof, woof, and slips shifts over. But again, City Skylines is different than Transport Fever. You know, we that building back there, that skyscraper, we didn't choose there to be a commercial district in that area of town. And if we don't get enough goods to that building, people are going to die in it or whatever. We don't have to haul out the dead bodies or the trash. We're just worried about transporting the goods.
Yep.
We got some food waiting for us, but none of it is for Sterling Heights. It's for Surprise. So we got 2 trucks on the Sterling Heights line, so we're getting rid of one. That guy's delivering crops. We told them that they could go. This is this. Yeah, this is the sidings. He can go to 1 or 2. Come on, get out of here. I put these in backwards. I wasn't paying attention. I mean, ideally, you want them so that you minimize your traffic flow, not have them stop at 3 lights, making 3 left turns across traffic. That's, oh, goodness.
That is a bit dumb.
Yeah. And wait in traffic.
So
Uh,
for a semi, a left turn's not a bad thing because at least it means that it's not, taking that nice tight right hand turn.
yeah. The better would be that it came in empty on this empty road, pulled into here, grabbed its goods, and then left to go out. But, I mean, only one of them has to go this way. The other one's got to go that way. All right, we're doing 44. There you go. Now we're at, like, we spend so little time at 100. Like, it literally, like, unless you have a highway, it doesn't make sense to buy the semi. Again, the right vehicle to transport the goods at the right, the right thing.
So the one step down.
Would have been better and saved us money, yeah. The fucking how? That train goes how fast? Yeah, it's like there's a good example. The bullet trains in this games, like the Shinkansen. You have to plan out that track to have enough, reason for it to get up to speed and stay at speed going across a good like the Fuking How just was up there. That thing has to travel the entire map. It's sort of just like a capstone kind of.
Means you also need to have it planned out to where there's no big turns and no sharp turns and
Yep, and you're paying for tunnels. Oh wait, look.
no hard inclines.
No, no, no. Look. Profitable. 2 years of profits. Very hard. 2,000 start with an airplane flying from one end of the map to the other. And I mean, look at how many mistakes we're making.
And the airplane's what Carson's screwing you parts too.
It's making 1.8 million.
How are you losing money on the roadway?
Wrong kind of trucks.
What does the ledger show on those?
Well, 451 on ticket revenue. The vehicles are costing 486 and 513. The roads 13,000, and then we got the truck stations. It's. I mean, we could step down from the semis because they're a little overkill on the delivery route.
Yeah.
You know, but again, that goes back to that. Micromanaging your costs.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, yeah, that's. Here's a 100 kilometers an hour now carrying 32. Instead of 30, and it's like, yeah, let's get the upgrade. No, man, you're waiting to get even 25. Downgrade to the one that does 16, and it's not going to go 100 kilometers for just those few feet on the road. Or fix the station here. So it's going the right way.
So what's taking the other car so long to get?
Oh, because there's no crops for it. See, when these crops left the food factory said, yeah, these are for surprise. Okay, they're for surprise. It will not let Sterling Heights pick these up. And yeah, and here's the other problem. I told this thing because I changed the station around. Pick up over on platform 2. Now, all the goods for platform 2 just moved over. And we're going to tell this thing to leave and then come back around. But now this one does get to pick up. And now it's out of here. That's the difference. There's cargo sitting on the platform over there idle, and here's a truck with no cargo costing us money. And there's like literally nothing we can do about it because we don't control the factory. We're just here to deliver stuff. How is this truck doing on its route? Is it making money? It's just barely, or it's losing, or it's making a. So I guess on the average, it probably is. You know, without pulling out the calculator. But she's constantly taking off with a full load of crops. And we're making loan payments. So here you go. Very hard 1850 passenger train. I mean, yeah, I'm going to call that a victory and a loss at the same time. Because if we'd, you know, planned it out a little better, we would have been making it.
Yep. I think could have gotten there. But it really is going to be a matter of knowing which trains to use, which passenger cars to use, in a good smooth track.
Well, and again, not to sound like, the an asshole min-max gamer, but is that not what we're doing?
Well, at that stage, you have to be.
Yeah, that's correct. And that's why an average gamer, look at that, 20 crops. That's why we switched into the profit. The farm finally kicked over and the factory kicked over. We're going back full. That's why we're in the black now. So, yep, that's all it took. And another loan payment in the bank. So we just keep doing this for a little while. We will be completely debt free, and then you could just buy whatever you want on the game. And you go from here. And then you're going to find yourself with $1 billion in the bank in no time. Spiff and Britt covered this as an exploit. But it's part of the game. See, because that's the problem. I mean, Spiff and Britt did a really good job with it. I love the content that he does. But, he covered this as an exploit because he was looking at this as, well, you're delivering food to a food factory. So why would you fly over 50 farms and 10 food factories to do this extreme run? Like, why?
Making chicken pot pies, and the one food farm was only sending them chicken, and the other food farm is sending them wheat.
Yep. We're hauling lobster from Maine down to a restaurant in California. Or a
And they also
restaurant.
need the butter.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there you go. We're hauling lobsters to Chicago, and we're trucking in the butter from Wisconsin. I mean, in the end, this is a transport game. We don't care what we're hauling as long as it's a profitable run. So I don't think this is an exploit. I would not play my game this way. I know this is here, and I know that when I get to the age of airplanes, this is an option, and it's an easy money make. So I try and stay away from them as much as possible because it is, for me, it's too easy. You have to have them because, like on my map, the Mississippi map is so big. There will eventually. I mean, am I going to run an airplane from Mississippi to New Orleans? I mean, I'm going to have to, but then that's just going to scavenge people from the ferry, which currently has 0 passengers. So maybe by the time I can buy a DC-10, it'll still have 0 passengers because no one wants to get on a ferry that far, you know. So here's an interesting thing. We hauled crops for 3.1. How much did we get for hauling food? I mean, no, it's a pallet load of stuff. You do not have to go far on the discussion boards for Transport Fever to see people say, "Yeah, I haul oil because it's more profitable." And you go, "What? What? Wait. Show me in the numbers where anyone ever told you that." And they go, "Well, I haul oil from here to there and I make X amount, I make 4 million. And if I haul logs from here to somewhere else, I only make 2 million." It's like, dude, the routes are completely different. Like they see this big number pop up and they think that there's some sort of, you know, OPEC price adjustment going on. It's like, no, this.
Cargo's cargo.
By the way, Workers and Resources Soviet Republic does have a cargo value adjusted market for imports and exports. If you flood the market with exports, the price goes down of what you make. I don't know if you've ever heard me mention Workers and Resources Soviet Republic before, but you know, it's.
Never heard of it.
I know, and the problem is, I wish I would be playing it again right now, but I would be disappeared into it for another 2 months. It's just there's so much to do in the game, and I just think it's, it's a game that you love so much, but you can't play it all the time because otherwise you never play anything else. I mean, not that that's a good or bad thing. All right, now we're hauling back 20 crops, and we'll see if we make exactly 3.1 million when it delivers.
You have an illegal airport, sir.
How's that?
There are no runway numbers.
You know, I wonder how much it would take for the devs to put that in the game. They'd have to make a determination which way is north and south, though. And is that really up to the devs, or is it up to you to rotate the map what way you want? There is dynamic numbering in this game. Like if you have a bus, well, if you put down a train station, you the vanilla game and player modded train stations, the game dynamically puts the name of the train station on the platforms. If you have a bus or a train that supports it, the LED panels on the side or the lettering, it will tell you the line number, the line name information, whatever you key in.
Yeah, so
So why can't they put, a 9 and a 27 on this runway? Okay, here we go. 3.178060. Because we're hauling goods, and we hauled 20 goods, and we got the same number whether we hauled 20 goods or 20 other goods. And look at that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more loan payments down the bank. You know, we made 1.1, almost a half a mil, and 982K over the last 3 years. I mean, we had the huge loss when we built everything, 65 mil. But we're well on our way to paying all that back off. And just a reminder, we're playing at what level of difficulty? Very hard. So, we're getting hit with the Well, I'm going to shut the stream down because this has been 2 hours and 45 minutes of me proving a point to a guy on Discord or on the discussion board in Steam who said the words "you're wrong." It's like, no, dude, I'm not. I mean, if two guys sitting here in the middle of the night without even thinking about it, stand up and go, "We're driving to Florida." level of let's play the game on very hard and run passenger service, and we can make it 30 years before we go bankrupt. And even then, we just barely went bankrupt because we needed that just a few extra dollars to come in. And that was a random map. I mean, I just picked the first cities where I landed. There might have been 3 better cities on the map. It might have been better to have 4 connected or 2 and 2. I don't know. There was no thought put into it. It was just give me 3 cities near each other. Okay, there you go. Whoosh. There's a track.
Well, you take it easy, then I'm gonna switch over, take care of a couple things.
All right, Sartor, have a good night.